Hey everybody, before you watch the video, click subscribe. Would you please, pretty please? It would help us at Soul Boom so much. Click subscribe. Around the same year, we both lost our fathers. What was that like for you? What kind of role did he play in his life? What was that?
He was a pretty strict guy, pretty tough dude. Could be tough to get along with.
What was his career?
He became like a corporate guy, but he was always a businessman and like a self-made business entrepreneur guy. But he was like the smartest guy in his family academically, but he didn't go to college. He just started his own business in Malaysia, and it was going pretty well. And then it went under, and then he reinvented himself by getting his college education in America. Then he went back and became a corporate executive. So he restarted his life out of circumstances. He wasn't like he didn't gamble, he didn't drink, he had no vices really. He just had a bad temper. That's where his biggest vice. But he remade his life a few times due to, when you're doing business, sometimes it just doesn't work out. It's not because you are bad at business. Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that you were dishonest or in any way. It's just it didn't work out. But he was so self-made, he would restart his life every single time. And when he passed away, I was at his funeral. Like family members would come. So his nephews and nieces, my cousins and my aunts and uncles, everyone would have these stories. I didn't even know that he was so respected because he was the guy who, in his village in Malaysia, he would see his nephews and nieces, whom he wasn't even particularly close to. They were just by blood related. He would see them graduate from high school, and he could already see that they would be stuck in this village and never leave due to just laziness or whatever, lack of inertia. He would grab them by the hand and bring them to the big city and say, okay, go study accounting, go become an accountant. And they would tell me these stories, and it sounded like him. I just never knew that. I never knew specifically, but when they told me these stories, that sounds like him. He would take you by the hand and literally put them in a car to go to Kuala Lumpur, go study accounting and become an accountant so that you would have a better life. And so he was that dude.
So pretty generous, but strong-willed.
Yes, very generous and very caring in that really weird, strict way, like, super caring guy. But in that like yell at you to make you better. And, he was right. Most of the time he was right. So
how did he die?
He was on his farm. He was farming, and then he passed away on his farm. Just very unexpectedly. Wow. Very unexpectedly, no warning. He just left.
Were you close or? Yeah, it was a complicated relationship.
We weren't best friends, but we weren't enemies, and we were talking, and a lot of mutual respect. We were kind of very different people. I think everyone says we're the same person, but I feel we're different. But maybe we couldn't be best friends because we were too similar. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
And when he left, it was so sudden. It truly was. I got a phone call from my brother-in-law, and he was like, "Oh, he left. He's gone." And it was like I was gonna see him the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. And my last text message to him was like, he was asking me about drones. He was gonna buy a drone for his farm, and he was like, "What do you think about buying this drone?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. It just seems like it takes skill to pilot those drones." And then you had to go back home, and like I had to go back and like handle his estate. Which is always weird because when people pass away unexpectedly, their estate is up to other people to handle.
Yeah.
And so you have to go through their life. You're forced to kind of go through their life to handle that. So that was intense. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really intense. So luckily my wife was with me and my sister, my brother-in-law, my mom, we were all like going through the stuff and trying to figure out. And he left. The universe is very weird. When we got to his the house in Malaysia, he had left like stacks of paper on his kitchen table, and it was all his business affairs. It was just stacks of paper right there, And I mean, part of it is because he's an old school guy. He printed out everything, so it wasn't like he didn't expect to leave. But it's part of it was like, man, it's kind of weird that all this
was
stuff.
Was it a heart or a stroke thing or what?
It was a farming accident. It was rough.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was rough.
The Soul Boom Podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you get your stupid podcasts.